What's going on? Welcome to Asian Cosell. So here we go. We got a video by Megan Moon again. She is reacting to her old dating advice video in 13 years and how dating in Korea has changed and it ain't really good. So let's get into this and here we go.
Friends and family, this is Megan Moon, aka Talent Mi국 Saram입니다. As we know, with social media and globalization, etc., that cultures tend to change quite rapidly, even from year to year, depending on what's going on. Cultures change. And as you know, I am old. I've been in Korea for 13 years. Let it bounce. So I thought it would be nice to revisit some of the topics and talk about how Korea has changed over the years since I've been here, tell you the things that are the same, etc. Nowadays, it seems like a lot of people are interested in dating. So I have this one video. It's called 10 Things to Know Dating in Korea. It got 1.1 million views. So I thought we would take a look at it, share some things about dating in Korea that are the same, talk about how dating has changed. Let's get started. It's definitely outdated. If someone says it, they're probably going to be my age. Lord.
Yeah, yeah, that's strange. Ride the white horse, ride the black horse. Even if it's not said a lot anymore, but it's still maybe a little bit. But as globalized as Korea gets, yeah. But at first they're like, I want to ride the white horse or go to the DVD bang, but we don't even go to the DVD rooms anymore. It's just mostly, yeah, we got Netflix and chill.
Old people say it. But I will say nowadays, because a lot of people are sort of turned off for marriage, they're like, I just want to enjoy myself. Please give me my hit of dopamine and somebody to cuddle up with for the night. I feel like Korea has become like the place to go if you're trying to hook up. But people are delaying serious dating and marriage until much, 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 much later. As we know, marriage rates are quite low. So, having said that, you really do have to make sure that you thoroughly vet the person that you're with. Nowadays, people are more open to using apps and whatnot for meeting people, but still, the majority of people using apps here tend to want to use it just for hookup purposes. So, the best way to actually meet someone if you're interested in long term, possibly marriage, is via the blind dates. And a lot of people now are actually using matchmakers because it's really hard to navigate the dating scene. Matchmakers will run you back like $2,000+. So it is a big investment, but they typically will be able to match you with someone.
So the next one is something, I don't know if it's just a problem with me, but I was always raised, I don't know, my parents are always like, Megan, if you want something, don't let no man buy it for you. That's my answer. Be your own independent, pay for stuff. So if you're like me, then this one is for you. And that's let them pay for stuff. And in a lot of cases, the guys pay more for stuff than what I was used to in America. And so then actually, there was one time I was dating somebody who, not boyfriend, girlfriend, just dating. He would take me to places that are a little bit more expensive and he would like to pay. And so then I was like, no, let me, pay for something. Let me get us, the coffee or like bingsu or something. So I went to this place and the bingsu was like $30. It's like, bingsu. I shouldn't open my mouth. I wanted to pay by that, and I probably was annoying to him.
Okay, so I was like Megan, and
Yes, we were two peas in a pod.
really don't like it. And my dad was the same way. Don't let guys pay for you because you want something in return. And it also it really boosts a guy's confidence when you let them pay
Not
for you
really.
because they feel like they're taking care of you. Whereas if you're like me or Megan and you're sometimes kind of stubborn when it comes to people paying for you, then it kind of seems like, oh, well, they don't need me, so I'm just gonna leave and find a girl who actually needs me.
Yes, on that. That is one thing that I really do appreciate about Korean men, especially in the confines of marriage. I find that they really take the responsibility of their household very seriously, and I love it. I think it's great. You wonder why everyone's going around saying I'm an independent woman. No, but obviously, I think it's great to have your own stuff and your own money. But I think sort of the way that we were raised in America is like, oh, take care of yourself and whatever. And that's fine. We do need to be independent in some regards, especially, before marriage. But I think a lot of the times it can sort of get in the way of that sort of natural man woman thing going on, especially.
Well, yeah, Megan, in the West, you know, yeah, we have this I'm an independent boss babe, independent this, independent that, and it just causes a lot of, angst and all that. And, feminism has, brainwashed a lot of the women in the West. So Yeah, I get why. So there you go.
Especially men in Korea, they were raised like we are the providers, like we are the protectors. And in that way, they're very masculine. So if you're going around saying, no, I'll pay for this, I'll pay for that, then it's a big for them. Although it has changed a lot because things are just so expensive nowadays. There are a lot of men in I don't want to date because I don't want to spend this money. They also don't want to feel used. So obviously you should offer to pay and pay for things. But if you're overkill with it, then they will feel really uncomfortable with it. And also how I was raised was you don't sleep with someone unless you're in a committed relationship. So to me, I'm like, well, unless I know if I'm in a committed relationship with this person or not, I don't want them to be spending all this money because what if they expect something else? And then also because I am slow to warm up to people, it takes me a couple months to meet and talk with a person, ask them lots of questions, hang out to really understand who they
Yeah, and usually the truth of the matter is most guys ain't gonna wait 3 months unless they're really, really, desperate. But yeah, it's crazy. But most guys ain't gonna wait that long. So glad you've found your Mr. Moon. But yeah,
are before I decide if I like them and I want to be in a dating relationship. So to me, it's like, I don't want them to be spending all this money like for these months every time we meet up. So I think that was a part of it also. But I have noticed that if the person does really like you, if you are someone who really is like me, who needs to get to know someone and be in a committed relationship before you sleep with them, then people will typically be patient with that. So in that way, I think dating in
not
Korea is good, at least back when I was on the
not
market in
really.
2017. They still really want to know that you appreciate what they do and they appreciate when you do things for them. So, for example, with me and my husband, when we were dating, he would have to work late a lot of the time. So I would cook him. In Korea, they call it toshirak, like some
Hmm.
lunchbox. And so I bought him like this lunchbox and he loved Jordan. So I put a bunch of Jordan stickers on it and then I would like make meals for him, like small things like that. They really like those kind of things. And I noticed less people like if you're just like, oh, I have money, I'm going to buy you this and do that. Like I think they like more sentimental, special things like making them a meal, writing them a card and letting them know that you're thankful and appreciative of what they do. And then they want to do it even more. That's one of the aspects about like Korea that I really appreciate is that dynamic of, okay, you can
Hmm.
do and support however much you want, and I will be grateful to cook for you and just make you feel special and appreciated. Continue.
So the second tip is be careful for friends who like you but are very loyal to their parents. Especially if their parents don't really like foreigners. And I say that because, in Korea, many people, they're very like family oriented, which is perfectly fine. But a lot of people's mothers can be very, invasive in their life. Always
That has changed now because with the low birth rate, now it's like, oh, I'm just happy you found somebody. That's pretty much it right now with a lot of the Korean parents in today's time. So, yeah, 13 years ago, okay, that mine was still there. Like, okay, well, I want you to marry somebody Korean, but now those days are gone. It's like I'm happy you just found somebody, and she's not like a what do we call it, a 304, or she plays around. She's just a good woman for my son. So
calling them. He's like a 30-year-old man, and his mom's like, "Oh, are you coming? Home? Where are you?"
So this one is definitely still the same. You want to make
no,
sure that that person is not someone who would be swayed by their parents. And that's not to say that all, Korean parents would
that
be against their children
that's kind of changed. It's kind of now going 50-50 because, again, I said low birth rate.
and marrying foreigners. But I've noticed the more meddling the mom and the more she tends to call, like when he's out, the less open
Okay,
they tend
that
to
part.
be with them being
Okay, I give you that part. Yeah, there could be an over controlling part of the mom and all that. So okay, I give that part.
with foreign girls. So you should know that.
The next one was one that I learned the hard way after so many times. I just like cut off so many people, which sounds terrible. And that is at first, when you get somebody's phone number, they don't message you incessantly right away. So message them often at first if you are interested. Because what happened when and then you start pulling off a little bit.
So that I would say is kind of the same still compared to what
Uh,
we're used to in the West. Koreans tend to
yeah,
message a lot right
I
away.
give you
There is
that.
a lot more love bombing, I would say. Whereas I feel like for us Western people, when someone love bombs, like red flags go up. We're like, are you a covert narcissist or something? Right? I think it's just a culture.
Or what we call it today is the ick. I don't want the guy messaging me too much, you know. That's what the chicks would be doing. I don't want the guy to be love bombing me. Oh yeah.
Thing that people do to show that they are interested. And also, I've noticed that Korean people get really, really excited with new love. I think just in
Mhm.
general, the way society is, people are just sort of beat down from work, studying, etc. So when they get flooded with those new like butterflies and those love hormones, I feel like they tend to be like, oh, I'm so excited. Like there's something exciting, my husband included. But on the other side, I have heard there are cases where sort of some guys who just are playing a bunch of girls, they sort of know that Western people don't message as much as Korean people do. So
Mhm.
they'll sort of use that to their advantage and say like, I'm busy today, but like all the time.
So if you don't know about Korea, there's a status thing that's really huge in Korea, and there's two different languages that you use depending on if someone's older than you or if you're the same age or someone is younger than you. And if you are, for example, older or have a higher status than a guy, they're going to feel like they have to address you in a formal way. So it's
Mhm.
not as easy to like make a relationship.
Yes and no. I feel like over the last couple years, like Korea, especially younger people, 20s, 30s people, they don't really want to have this status thing so much. And they don't
Yeah.
really feel pressure to sort of follow the hierarchical system. It still exists, but I don't think it's as strong as it was 9, 10 years ago, like when I made this video. To the next one.
Don't be afraid to approach Korean guys. Like a lot of times they don't know if you speak Korean or not. So they're like, I don't know if this girl speaks Korean. Why am I gonna go over to her? And usually in Korea you meet people via sogechi, which is like a blind date your friends set up.
I would say yes, just because in general people are approaching people a little bit more than they were back in the day. If you're somewhere and you notice someone keeps looking at you, you can go over and say hi. Because there are a lot of foreigners in Korea now, people sort of know that whole like cold contact culture. Remember back when I first came in Korea, it was like very rare that anyone would ever come up to you and say anything unless you're in the same group or same something like same gym, right? They see you.
Yeah, but mostly it's for girls. Women go up to guys. Mostly the guys, we have to, spark up a conversation. So I do believe for the guys, they have to approach. But for women, yeah, you guys are welcome to approach and do all of that. So, yeah.
Multiple times. It wouldn't be like this girl on the street. I just see her. Let me go up to her. And anybody who did do that, it was a very high chance that they were just looking for a hookup. But I think nowadays it's a bit different. I hear more and more stories of people who just met in the street, on the park, winding up getting married.
So the next tip is just know the equivalent of Netflix and chill to Boom Boom in Korea is
Oh, our car's value went up.
Maybe we should track
Yeah.
all our car's value on Carvana.
And
All
get
of them?
yourself a
All of them.
Carvana. Not anymore.
the only thing I can say is if a guy and
Not
if you
anymore.
guys don't even have like something going on, it's like some. If he asks you to go to a DVD bar with him, he doesn't just want to chill and watch a movie. He wants to chill and watch a movie while he touches your body. I mean, it did happen to me once. My body was not touched. But
Okay, so times have changed and nobody goes to DVD bombs
No.
anymore. This was so long ago. We don't have those anymore because everyone basically has Netflix and Watcha and T-Bing and Coupang even has
Yeah.
a video streaming service, which is great because they have all the seasons of Adventure Time. There's so many ways to stream videos nowadays, and a lot more people are leaving their parents' house before marriage, so they would just ask you to meet at their house, right? So this tip is obsolete. But on the off chance that someone does ask you to go to a DVD room, which is very, very, very unlikely, this tip is for you. But I will say one thing is like a lot of Western people, like even friends, can just go and hang out at someone's house and it not be a big deal. It's like, yeah, just come over and like chill. And it doesn't mean that anything is gonna happen. But I do think in Korea, a lot of people could misunderstand. So if there is like a guy who you're just friends with, or if a guy is like, yeah, come over to my place, he might be thinking something else.
Yeah. DVD rooms. I rarely even see a lot of the DVD rooms even exist now. If I even see one, I'm like, oh, or is it even in existence? So that's you could like kind of look at it and go, okay, I don't know, the DVD rooms, and yeah, and of course, from the West, we have guys and girls hanging out, but I kind of like changed my mind. At first, I was okay with that, but now I'm like, nah, I don't want my girl hanging with a guy, you know. And that's the thing. And this is the thing where, a lot of the Western chicks, they're like, oh, it's okay. And, they're playing all these games now. And it's like, no, no. So, yeah. And Korea is changing, but not changing fast enough. So we'll have to see.
Want to do something, you do have to know that there is a cultural difference in that way. And if you're not trying to do anything,
People are doing things.
typically before you move to a country, the only thing you know about that country is just whatever you've seen on the media, whatever people
Hmm.
like myself are telling you in video. And I know a lot of people who were a bit naive, they came here thinking that,
Oh,
Korean
yeah.
men were just these unicorns so different from men at their home. And this is not bashing Korean men at all. I'm not saying it or anything about them, but I'm just saying, like, a lot of people just assume that everyone is good, and where we shouldn't go around being negative and assume that people are terrible people. However, if there's a situation that you would not be in your home country, like with a man that you didn't know, then it's probably best to avoid that in Korea as
Hmm.
well. Because unfortunately, I've heard stories of people thinking, oh, well, these are good people. Like, I don't know him, but yeah, whatever. And unfortunately, they found out that that was not it. We do need to still be safe. And again, don't go around thinking everyone is just
Okay. Well, here's the thing, a lot of the women think, oh, I can be friends with a guy and nothing's going to happen and he's in the friend zone. But these days, yeah, uh, for most of the guys, it's not even worth it to be in the friend zone. Like if if I'm gonna do any business with a chick, I'm gonna do it like in daylight, and I'm not gonna be stuck in a room with her. And if she's has somebody, I don't want to cause any problems. So yeah, if we have like business, I'll do that. But other than that, I'm not going to listen to her problems about, oh, my husband's doing this and that. So these days, yeah, being friends with a chick doesn't benefit you. It doesn't benefit you big time unless you're doing some sort of business, but you're going to keep it professional. But yeah, other than that, I'm not going to, yeah, go out and oh, hang out with me. No, I'm not going to go hang out and like all of a sudden protect her because I'm not with her. She's not my girlfriend. And I'm just going to be like, go ahead, go have fun. I'm not going to be that guy. So yeah, it's sad. It's effed up, but yeah, it's what has to be done these days because guys need to go on their purpose.
bad, because that's not a good way to live. But you still just have to be careful and sort of take off rose colored lenses and sort of be able to look at situations and think, okay, in my home country, would I do this? If the answer is no, just don't do it here. And on the other hand, there are a lot of people, because they are with someone who is love bombing them, they assume that maybe that person is not a cheater. But then they found out that they were. So basically, the love bombing plus the image that people have based on Korean dramas, a lot of people are very blindsided when it turns out that their partner actually wasn't a good person. And a lot of the times they overlooked certain signs showing that this person actually wasn't a good person. There are good people and bad people everywhere. So don't let the stereotypes about Korean people and the love bombing sort of blind you to that,
Hmm.
basically, is what I would say.
I feel like because you're not allowed to talk about it openly, that some people are a little bit more freaky dicky. What I've noticed, but I know a lot of
Yes, that is definitely true. They do like cute stuff. Even my husband, if I'm doing something, he's like, "Oh, it's so cute," and then he'll take a picture. The picture is like me with
Oh
like
yeah.
fingers in my mouth, looking like horrible. Why are men like this? Why do you take pictures of your woman when she's doing something weird, shaving her legs or something? And
Not me,
those are the
but
photos that you have. Okay. When we take pictures of you guys, it's beautiful. It looks like paparazzi shots. And then you take pictures of us, and they were like,
This may be
yeah.
the last ad you ever see. Because with the free ad block extension from Capital One,
"Why? Why? But I would say that's still the case for a lot of people dating. The culture has shifted more towards like,
Mm-hmm.
sexy looking girls. But still here, if you're out and about looking like super sexy, like a baddie, then there will be more people who were probably approaching you for
Yeah.
maybe having a one night stands versus if you're someone who's a bit more classy or looking very cute, then you would get approached by more people who might be considering dating you. But I think that's sort of somewhat stands in most places, right? But I think it's a bit more pronounced here. Although people are starting to accept more like racy types of outfits, I do think the outfit that you wear determines like who comes up and approaches you. So just
Mm-hmm.
be mindful of that.
And the next one is watch out for people who just want to learn English. And this is not actually just for dating, this
Yes.
is just for like in a lot
Oh
of other
yeah.
relationships too. So I'll give you one specific example I had was when back when I lived in Anyang, I had a group of friends, group of people approached me, hey, you live in Anyang, let's, be friends, let's hang out. So they wanted to hang out like every week, we were getting coffee, doing stuff. But then every person in the group had something they needed to do. So like one of them, for example, the one I remember the most, he hung out with me the most. He had a resume he needed written in English. So after a few weeks, he's like, "Hey, can you revise my resume?"
What's his name?
By the time I revised the resume after that, no time for you at all, which showed me what, like never, like since that day, never hang out with you again.
What was his name? I didn't know anyone else in Korea with the last name P, like P-I, not B-I, like B, like rain, like P-I.
Yeah.
P was his last name. You using me for the resume. Yeah, I'm still mad at that. No, I'm not. I forgot about it until I just said it. I don't think it's like that nowadays where people just want to learn.
Yeah, you're right, Megan. A lot of people don't bother me about, oh, could you help me with my essay or stuff? Yeah, I mean, when I first came like 10 years ago, yeah, they might have like said, okay, I need help, but no, I don't think they, we got the emergence of what Chat GPT and all this AI crap. So yeah, that's kind of who helps write that now these days. Yeah, they don't even need us.
English from you. I think there's just so many language institutions and so many people doing private tutoring lessons for English that they don't feel the need to use friends or girlfriends for that. But back in my day, it was happening a lot. Also because there were less foreigners just in general in
Yeah.
Korea at that time. Like in Anyang, I swear there was like me and like two other foreign people that lived there. But nowadays, like foreigners are everywhere. What I have heard is that people will use English language meetups in order to try and find girls to date. So I've heard stories of people meeting from English meetups and actually they're married now or like on English apps and whatnot. So I would say meeting in some sort of English meetup or
Hmm.
English speaking app is probably safer than meeting people on the street, just anecdotally.
Yeah.
But don't be like me. And if someone keeps asking you to fix their English papers or their resume, keep doing it. At that time, when I was like 22, I was like so nice. You can tell I've changed. I've been
Yeah.
jaded. Is that the word? Jaded. It's right. English. Words I don't use for a long time disappear. But yes,
Yeah.
experiences in life make us realize, oh, I shouldn't do this. And then we grow and change. Yeah, P something. But yes, there are more people here who would possibly use you. I have noticed that there's a lot more using of people going on here. So if you are with someone and they always just want you to help them with English stuff, but then you notice it's not really reciprocated, then probably that person just wants to be with you for your English stuff.
So thanks so much for watching
Yeah.
this video. We hope that gave you some tips. And I know that we didn't really
Aw, well, that was fun. It was like a stroll down memory lane. I know many of you guys have been with me since the beginning and have watched those really old videos that I had on Korea. So if there's any video that you watched in the past and you want to know, is it the same or is it different now? How Korea has changed? I think I'm going to talk about ways that Korea has changed, even just over the years that I've been here, and sort of give you an update on Korean culture, where it's going, things that are applicable or not. Let me know if there are any topics that you want me to revisit down.
All right, so yeah, nice video by Megan. But yeah, even like because the emergence of K-pop, K-drama, and then there's that one video where the woman shows up and goes, "I've been catfish." I'm just like, really? You thought every Korean guy was into like one of those K-dramas or the Lee Min Ho or Lee Min Ho, who is a famous actor in Korea? You're like, really? And you come to South Korea to bash the guys, and then most of the comments she just got beat up on it. So yeah, it's changed 13 years. Oh man, yeah, it's really have changed, especially with this emergence of social media and everything else. All right, so if any of you enjoyed any of this content, please give me the HKO special help the king out. Hit the like, subscribe, and comment. And wherever you are, stay safe, and I'll see you in my next video.